Hey there, how's it going? I'm hiking around here in Jasper National Park. Getting a little bit late in the evening here. A beautiful meadow. The sun getting close to the horizon there. Definitely a pretty spot here. So I'm going to keep on hiking. I'm hiking up this trail that heads for a really spectacular viewpoint eventually. We'll see if I get there in the course of this video or not. But I just thought that I would tell a little story here. One of my travel tales. So this is from my most recent trip to India from February of this year, of 2014, in the holy city of Varanasi on the Ganges River in northern India. And I had just arrived there from Nepal. I'd been trekking in the Himalayas of Nepal and had come down by bus overland across the India-Nepal border, and then made the trip into Varanasi, which I'd been to once before. It is considered one of the holiest cities in India, and it is where many Hindus go to die, because it is believed that if you die in Varanasi, then you go straight to heaven, basically, or you're liberated. There is a amazing phenomenon there in which there is the burning of bodies on the Ganges River. And so there are piles of wood out in the open, and covering up bodies that are being buried, although not always completely covered up. I saw this time they were preparing a body to be burned, and I was just walking along what is called the Ghats, and these are the stone steps that go down to the Ganges River so that people can access the river, and then people are bathing and just swimming in the river there, and hanging out on the Ghats and just watching the scene. And there are specific places where this burning is going on. So I'm just walking along one day and see this pile of wood, and as I'm walking along, I realize there is a dead body just right there with wood partially piled on top of it, but I could see the whole thing. So that's just to give a little idea of what's happening there in Varanasi. So different day, then I decided that I wanted to go on a walk up the Ghats, these stone steps along the river, because they go for miles. It's just you just keep on walking, and as I mentioned, that I'd been there once before to Varanasi, but I mostly hung out in this one area where all the guest houses and restaurants and everything are, and so I wanted to go explore a little bit further and see exactly how far these Ghats continue. Just go walking up the river there, and so I end up walking through the most popular place for this burning of the bodies to be done. It's going there 24 hours. Then they are burning the bodies there. And so while I was walking past it, I thought, this would be a good place to do a video talking about death. And so I was going to start the video showing these piles of wood, and then explain what I just explained of how this is the place of the burning Ghats, and where many Hindus come to die and everything, and then just give some thoughts of my own on death. But I had to take a pee, and so here's where the story gets kind of ridiculous. Indian men kind of pee all over the place. You just find a corner, a wall, just step off the main alley, and I kind of prefer not to do this myself, a little bit more discretion. I wasn't, raised in India. It's more of a custom in my culture to use a bathroom or whatever, somewhere that's designated. And so I was keeping my eyes open for, there are sort of public toilets or urinals or whatever. And so right near this Burning Gat area, then I see a man standing at a what looks like a urinal, taking a pee. And so I wait for him to finish, and he does, and then he walks away, and I go stand there, and it's just a sort of a little, it isn't an enclosed kind of a thing. It's just sort of these two little like sidewalls or whatever, like at a urinal, and then just a grating down below. And so I step up there, and I'm taking a pee, and I'm in the middle of whizzing there, and suddenly this little boy comes running up to me and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he does speak a little bit of English, very basic English, but he says, "What are you doing? Stop doing that. That is a temple." I'm like, what are you talking about? And he points next to where I'm standing, and there is indeed a little shrine there. I forget, devoted to one of the Hindu gods. And according to this little boy, apparently this thing that I'm peeing at is actually some sort of like a washing station, like for washing your hands or something like that. Because then I realized that there is a little nozzle there. And I had assumed that was for washing your hands after you take a pee. And I just watched this Indian man standing there taking a pee to the best of my ability. I mean, he wasn't, I don't remember seeing him moving his hands around just washing his hands. He was standing there for a good little while. And so I thought I was in the clear here. I thought I was doing the right thing of checking, picking the appropriate spot to take a leak. And so this is definitely a very awkward situation to be, because you're it's an exposed place. It's like this alley that other people are walking past, and this little boy is freaking out at me for disrespecting a sacred spot, as it turned out. And then I look up, and there's like this apartment building above me, and there are some Indian men up on a balcony up there looking down at this scene, just kind of laughing. And I say to them, "I just saw this man, he was just standing here peeing. I thought this was the right place, like I thought I was doing the right thing." And so they were just kind of laughing, and so it wasn't the end of the world. But once I had finished up there, then I was too embarrassed to start making the video discussing the topic of death that I was just about to start talking about, and I just wanted to get the hell out of there. So I just took off, and that was the end of it. And then I continued up the Ghats there, had a really amazing walk, and on the way back, then I ended up recording a video on the subject of traveling as a spiritual practice, in case anyone saw that one. So I didn't end up doing a video that day, but unfortunately I didn't take advantage of that opportunity for the topic of the discussion of death, which of course maybe I'll do another time, but that just kind of felt like the appropriate place to contemplate that profound topic. So anyway, only in India would something like that take place, it seems. India is just ripe for these kind of weird, bizarre experiences pretty much on a daily basis. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. All right, I mentioned that there would be a spectacular view, and here it is coming up. Here we go. Check Check it out. And a little sunshine coming through even. After a cloudy number of days, the past week or so has been a lot of clouds and some rain. So nice to see some clear skies here. So this is smack in the middle of Jasper National Park, Alberta, Canada, in the Canadian Rockies. British Columbia is that way. The city of Edmonton is out this highway, about 4 hours drive that way. Banff National Park is straight south of here. Banff and Jasper share a border. Over here is Mount Edith Cavell, right there. And then down this way is the Columbia Icefield. The Columbia Icefield is a series of a number of different glaciers, including the Athabasca Glacier, and the Columbia Icefield is the headwaters for the Columbia River, which makes the border of Oregon and Washington states down in the U.S. I lived in Portland, Oregon for a number of years and never realized that the headwaters for the Columbia River was up here in Alberta, Canada. Down here is the Athabasca River, a couple of lakes. I know one is Lake Beauvert. I think the other one is Lake Annette. And then the town of Jasper itself is kind of hiding behind those trees right there, the only town in the park. Here in early September, things are already starting to cool down here quite a bit. But for now, definitely a spectacular day. All right, have a good one.